Hi everybody, hey, it's Jeff with Agent 509. Happy September 23rd to you. Something like equinox or the harvest moon, something changed. I heard it on the radio, but it's getting a little cooler. It feels good. Um, Wanted to just talk to you guys about a couple points today. One is we had an open house, and this is what brought this topic up. We had 4 open houses, and we had some folks from the Midwest, people coming in to the homes, and a couple of them had a couple questions that one related to the housing market, and I just thought it would be an interesting topic to talk to. But first off is Keller Mortgage. If you're a buyer or a seller out there, get to know Keller Mortgage because it, one, increases your probability if you're a buyer to get the home that you're looking for, but 2, it saves you money, including paying for your appraisal. Okay, so if you're a seller and you have a house out there and you want to list it with Keller Williams, right? Obviously, Agent 509 is part of that. That's one of the benefits that we get working through Keller Williams, and it's the reason we're here. Gives us that macro level scale of opportunity we can pass on down on a micro level to our clients, and we're working on the micro level scale here at Agent 509. So the second thing is the housing market, and I want to talk to you about right here. I just did this land use zoning limits supply. Okay. So if you're in the Midwest, Chicago, anywhere in the Midwest, Iowa, we know there's just massive amounts of land, right? So there's not really something of a supply issue as far as land. Okay, homeowners today, I think, specifically in Eastern Washington, North Central Washington, more importantly, they tend to look at things in a newspaper print. Like what's new? Did the housing go down, or what's going on? Like I heard it's going down, but I can tell you what's already down, and that's the number of available buildable lots in North Central Washington. That is already figured out. And so, one is topography, right? We have lots of hillsides. 2 is a lot of, specifically Chelan County. I think it's it's a high percentage is owned by the federal government. Our topography leans to just the rivers, and our transportation system is all going through these little valleys. So we have very buildable land. I mean, if you went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, you would see the same thing. Mountains, very limited buildable areas, and of course prices are extremely high. So when you look at growth management, it was enacted in 2001. Growth management made counties. The Growth Management Act of 2001 made each county come up with a 10-year comp plan, long-range planning of where the best areas where they should start with single-family homes, multifamily, commercial, business districts, industrial, where all those should fit in each county. Chelan County, I think, fought it for a long time, and then they finally had to get in line with every other county in the state of Washington. So you have this limited supply. Home buyers, particularly new home buyers, but even a lot of us, we look at things in a 6-month or 1-year term. And I think that's wrong. My background is in tree fruit. I didn't have family in any of the tree fruit industry, so I went to college for it. Lived in British Columbia, lived in Wenatchee Valley, worked in Oregon. So I saw a lot. And when you work with farmers like that, their window is 7 to 10 years. If you have a cherry orchard out there, it's 7 years before you're probably going to really pay for your investment and get into profitability structure. With apples today, that's 3 to 4 years. But when I was doing it, it was 6 to 7 years. So homeowners tend to look at things in a really small amount of time, 12 months, 6 months, newspaper print ads, what's going on? And my training and working with farmers has given me a kind of a longer term approach. Banks look at it in a long-term approach. Your loans are 15-year is one of the shortest, 15-year payoff. Most of them are 20, 25, and 30. So if you're a homeowner and you find the home that you could live there for a long time, okay, then don't worry about the noise that's going around, because what's occurring, and I can tell you because I do land acquisition for a client, is that I already have a limited supply of land. And the zoning by each county has determined that in each city. So for instance, if I have clients that want to buy multifamily, they want to put multifamily units in, I mean, we're talking a really small amount of area that is, you can allow to have multifamily. So that means that when there's a limited supply, right, that means prices go up. It happens it's just general economics. And I don't think you have to be an economic professor to understand that. It's when there's limited supply, prices go up. So when I talk to people from out of town, they don't really understand that because they're coming from an area where there's massive supplies of land, and maybe their state does not have Growth Management Act. So, let's say that, in the United States, most building codes, building a structure, are the same. Obviously, if you're on a hillside, you're going to have a geotech report. You're going to have some different things that are different than, say, if you're on flat land somewhere else. But the one structure that's very different in North Central Washington is the land use zoning, or in the state of Washington. And so I want you guys to just think of that, because that'll give you a longer term approach to really values. I mean, real estate generally always goes up. I think the average in the country is like 3%. In Wenatchee, it's been 5%. And so what's happening is when you look at the rapid speed that people can discover an area, whether that's through Facebook, Instagram, the internet's changed everything. Right? We look at the Oregon Trail, like my parents live on the Oregon Trail, and you go down to Oregon, you see it, and it's like these old wagons and stuff. But today, the Oregon Trail is alive. It's called airplanes, Instagram, Facebook. People are seeing areas that they want to live, communities that are, that have outdoor recreation, ability to provide for their family, have shopping and all that. We fit a lot of, our shoe fits a lot of sizes for a lot of people that are looking to discover these things. The more I travel around the country, you do not see what we have. I mean, we're so blessed. We don't have to build the mountains. We don't have to build the trails. We don't have to do all these things because we have them all at our footstep. But the limiting factor when you have all those things is that growth management has limited the number of lots that potentially can go on. And that's what's raised prices. Land prices have gone exponentially much higher in the last 5 years than homes. It's crazy. Obviously, land is much cheaper, but on the scale, it's becoming a bigger component of new construction. It's becoming a bigger component of rising prices, in my view. And I'm not an expert here. I'm just giving you my on-the-ground experience. And so it's something to think about. And if you're out there and you're moving into the area, or you don't understand because maybe you don't see high rises here and all the things that big cities have, understand we're like that kind of Jackson Hole. We have that limited we have the land topography, which is limited, but we also have growth management, which means you just can't build 1,000 homes out in the middle of Timbuktu without massive amounts of infrastructure. And that infrastructure all adds to the price of a lot and overall to the cost of a home. So there's my 2 cents. And if you have any questions, if you want to learn more about Keller Williams Mortgage, which I really encourage you to do, give us a call down at the office. We'll hook you up with our contact there at Keller Mortgage. She's wonderful, Lindsay. And other than that, you guys have a good day. If you have any questions in real estate, please give us a call. And I wish you all the best. All right? Thank you. I'm Jeff.